Fucking live. What up?
What up?
All right, we were just talking about the defenses, and right now, so the Colts are fourth. I see. Yeah, they came off a bye last week, so doesn't that mean everybody else's stats have more shit?
Yeah, truth.
But, I mean, they have, and they've played good teams. You know.
They have. Truth.
Yeah, sort of.
No, I'm
You know,
agreeing. Yeah, I mean,
they're a bit of a surprise. I don't know who all they played. I know that they get the Texans and the Jaguars, a couple of times this year, but I mean, they've won
shut down
some
Chicago.
low scoring games.
They shut down Chicago. And Chicago's a pretty good team too. Well, they're 5-2, aren't they?
Fun fact. I think they might be, but fun fact, they had the best record of any team through 7 games that has a negative point differential, meaning their opponents have scored more points than they have. I think it's like -10 or something, and they have a winning record.
Huh?
Who's that?
Chicago. So the games they've lost, they've been mopped up, and then the games they've won have only been like a point or two.
I was a believer in Foles until last game.
Yeah, he didn't look good.
No, dude, he's feast or famine.
Yep,
definitely. So I don't know. The Bears kind of remind me of the way the Vikings were 2 years ago.
Yeah,
a lot of potential, but they just got a quarterback you can't depend on. He had that one good year where he came back to the Eagles and ended up starting because Carson Wentz went down. And they won a Super Bowl, but he ain't done shit before that. He ain't done shit since then.
Yeah, I agree. He's a great backup quarterback, but he's so reliant on his supporting cast, and the cast on the 17 Eagles was much better than the Bears have right now. Like the Bears have a couple playmakers, but I mean, Foles has got to have guys around him to make the plays. I mean, he didn't do a whole lot in that Super Bowl run that a lot of other quarterbacks couldn't do. But he had guys that were kind of, I mean, it's like a pitcher pitching a no-hitter, but it's really the outfield that's kind of taking care of him. And, he's looked really bad. He's statistically worse than Trubisky this year through 3 games or 4 games. But, they still been chugging along.
Well, Matt Nagy and he have some relationship, don't they? Foles and I think Foles.
Did Nagy come from Philly?
I think I can't remember, but I think that they had some relationship.
Was it like the quarterback's coach or some shit?
Some kind of, something like that.
Oh, you know what? And I think he was with Foles in Kansas City because he was there for like a season or something.
That's where it was.
Yeah, you're right.
So, what a shit division that Philadelphia is in, man.
Jeez,
oh, my gosh.
Cowboys are still in it.
I know, right? Even with they just signed some dude, Gilbert. God damn it, that's his name. I want to find that shit. Because he's like I want to say he was hired off the Patriots practice squad, which sucks for the Patriots because they're probably going to need another quarterback before the end of the season too.
I heard that Dallas is letting their 7th round draft pick start.
Wow, I didn't know that. You know what? There's a couple teams in fire sale mode. Now that we're talking about Dallas and a little bit about the Vikings, both of those teams are 2 teams that have already started really cutting off parts and trying to get draft picks and dump salaries and stuff. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
Yep.
But the Cowboys had signed Everson Griffin this year as a free agent, and 6 games in already had cut him loose, so he's gone. And I think he went to who did he go to? Seattle. Seattle got somebody else. I'm getting all screwed up. Anyway, they traded him off to somewhere, and then the same thing with Seattle Cowboys, the Vikings. They got rid of a couple of high-profile guys this week too, and it's because they both have lost a certain number of games, and they're like, "Man, this season's over."
Yep.
So you're starting to see this thing like you used to have in baseball. You get down the trade deadline, and the teams that are out of it, they start getting rid of everybody.
Yep. Do you watch Game 6? Do you watch Game 6?
I didn't. I saw the play, but I didn't watch the game.
You didn't miss much. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots I hear are doing the same thing right now. They're trying to unload, and I mean, why not? And speaking of which, I have to say that my call on Bill Belichick being all right was wrong, man. He's in bad shape. Obviously, he needs players. He can't do it all on his own.
He does not have the players, dude. No, I mean, let's just face it. He's going to miss at some point, and he missed with Cam. I missed with Cam. I thought he'd do great up there, but he's not doing good at all, man. And I'm sorry, but it's not the offensive line up there, dude. It's not the offensive line.
I lost the love in Cam when the shoulder thing went on, man. He hasn't come back from it. He hasn't been the same Cam since he had the whole shoulder deal.
I know. Yeah, no, I'm blown away. I really thought, him having enough time off the last couple seasons, because basically they shelved him last year. He got to play like 2 games. I figured he'd be fine. He looks really, really bad. And then they don't have another plan. It's not like some of these teams that has a guy who's streaky and they get a good backup quarterback, or, they kind of build the offense a little bit differently. Like, they just are totally lost. But they are mailing it in. I heard they're taking calls on Gilmore. I heard they're shutting down Edelman. I think he's going to at least go on temporary IR to get some kind of knee procedure done. And these are things that they just didn't do during the middle of the season anymore, or in recent years, like when they won championships.
It looks a lot different than when Matt Castle was playing for that year.
Yes, it does.
So,
they're saying that he's doubtful for his return this week, Andy Dalton. And Danucci is, or I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I think so. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's the one getting the start. But I could have swore I read something earlier today where they signed another quarterback.
They probably did. I mean,
but his name is getting on my nerves because I can't remember it, because I keep saying Gilbert Godfrey or Gilbert Godfrey or some shit.
I'll look at the depth chart.
Garrett Gilbert. Garrett Gilbert.
He's well traveled. I think he was back up Aaron Rodgers before this year.
He was a 6th round pick by the St. Louis Rams in 2014.
Yeah, man. The NFC East, you could pretty much just throw them all in the trash can.
Well, they signed him 2 weeks ago. I don't know why I'm just not seeing it.
Pitiful.
They signed him right after the Dak Prescott injury, so I wonder why he's not getting the start over the other guy.
So, Cowboys. Amari Cooper, I've heard people propose that would be a good idea to trade him out of there with that big salary. And basically the contract that he signed, instead of it being a 5-year, $100 million deal, it's really more of like a 2-year, $40 million deal. And they would get a net gain on his salary next year. Or most of the time, if you dump a guy early in his contract, the next year you got to owe, the bonus money for the first 2 years, which is the biggest, right? Well, I guess if they cut him loose, if they were to trade him next year, they're only going to take an $8 million cap hit, which is, I think his salary is $20 million. So you actually gain like $12 million by getting rid of him. And I mean, how deep do you go? They were talking about this on some show earlier this week that I caught wind of. They had Michael Gallup and they got, CeeDee Lamb or whatever his name is. These guys are young and inexpensive and probably going to be productive for a number of years. Do you keep Amari Cooper around, who doesn't show up, in my opinion, like half the time at $20 million a year?
How can you rebuild a team, though, when you've only replaced the head coach, right? All the other coaching staff's the same people. Is that correct?
Could be. That's how they normally do it.
He didn't bring his own people in, Mike. He's got all the same people from Jason's last year. Garrett.
Yeah, every time Jones has another coach, basically him and Stephen Jones pick out the coordinators, or they hold over half the staff. It's very unorthodox.
It's obvious.
You're probably right.
Because Mike McCarthy isn't known to be the most aggressive play caller in the world, in my mind. But they look like the same fucking team as when Jason Garrett was coaching them still. I don't see any changes.
That's because Jerry Jones is still coaching.
True. How come he's so damn conservative? Let the boys play a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
Because he's fucking 90?
It's pitiful. Cowboys, man. I don't know what to think. It doesn't, you think Jerry Jones wants to win and this and that and the other and blah, blah, blah. But that motherfucker don't care. He wants to market so many people in it every time, whether they win or lose, because the Cowboys are America's team, blah, blah, blah. I hate them. I don't like it.
They don't care nearly as much about winning. Look at it this way. Like, over their entire history, the good coaches that they've had, they don't stay long. Like, when they win, they tend to kind of move along, and then the next guy comes in and just sits around for a long period of time. I mean, Jimmy Johnson, he was there, 4 seasons?
Yep.
And if they really cared about winning, they'd have kept him longer. But it's never been about that. It just never has been. I mean, it's all about the show and the money.
So,
Well.
what do y'all think about the game of the week? This, in my opinion, the game of the week, which should be everybody's, is Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
Baltimore's due.
I knew that Pittsburgh was. Oh, I thought you were talking about Pittsburgh Titans last week. I'm sorry.
No, we'll get into that. But,
okay. Pittsburgh's overdue, man. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Baltimore. I got Baltimore on that game because they just took a week off too.
Yeah, they did. And did that, like you said, that they got a killer defense. So does Pittsburgh. But dude, Ben isn't playing. You know, he's playing all right.
Yeah,
he's not losing.
No, I disagree. I watched the Titans game last week, and he made some throws. I'm just like, there's a couple key components that a quarterback that's that veteran. I mean, you could put Eli in there, you could put Brady in there, you could line all those 10 to 15 to 20-year quarterbacks in, and just say they definitely will not do A, B, and C. One of those items is to throw it low over the middle in the red zone, and he had that late interception that was just like inexplicable in that game. And I mean, I'm obviously pulling for the Titans. It was great for us because it's the only reason they had a shot to even go to overtime is he turned that ball over. Even if he threw it out of bounds, if he threw it in the upper deck and they kick a field goal, there's no chance the Titans get into overtime, right? But, I mean, he went low over the middle, interception. Into the first half in that game, he just kind of chucked a duck up there, and it was intercepted, and he's just kind of doing these things that, you know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago he could have got away with because he had AB and Mike Wallace and these other guys. I mean, they've got some talent, but I mean, damn, he's taking some chances. It's kind of like Phillip Rivers a little bit too.
Yeah, I don't see how. To me, the Titans lost that game. The Steelers didn't win it because 3 interceptions on Big Ben, 3 of them in that game, and you still like it's not even on Gostkowski to me. It's not.
No, I agree with that. I agree absolutely with that. No.
It shouldn't come down to him.
No, it shouldn't. I mean, if it does, he needs to perform, and I blame him for that. But I don't blame him for the whole game, losing the whole game. You know, I mean, because
I blame the fucking defense.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Even though they got 3 interceptions on Big Ben,
dude, you have to blame the defense. If you're going to call, you know, if you're going to point a finger at the Titans, I mean, they have the worst third down percentage on defense. They cannot get off the field on third down.
Nope, dude. The stat when I was watching that game, like in the halftime, we were like 1 of like 5. They were like almost 90% good for fucking, and they had like several. It was like 15 for 16 or some shit.
Dude, anytime a team gets over 50% on third down, they ought to win 100% of the time.
Yeah. What'd you say, Moss?
Where was Derrick Henry last game?
He played.
I know he played, but like I don't like in the second half, man. I want to see Derrick Henry grabbing the ball at least 15 times in the second half alone.
I mean, dude, if a team's got their number, dude, Pittsburgh had his number.
No, Pittsburgh's got Tennessee's number. They have for years.
Yeah. Because, dude, no matter who comes into Tennessee, they're a run-first offense. We have never had a, pass-first offense, and we still don't. And I'm fine with it if it works, but it's Jesus Christ. It's all we've ever had.
I think the offense looked okay. I mean, the offense kept them in it because
not the first half. The first half it looked like shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the one bad half they've had this year. I mean, really every other game the offense has been consistent. I mean, 25, 30,
they were both undefeated.
Points.
They were both undefeated going into it. Now, my brother did say he called a couple of weeks ago. He's like, man, he thinks this Pittsburgh is going to be the one going to the Super Bowl. Somebody, I can't remember, in another off-the-wall pick on the NFC side. Maybe not off the wall. I think he said Green Bay, which isn't off the wall.
Could happen.
But that's potential.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
It's going to be a great game.
Baltimore.
I mean, one of those teams has to win that division, and it's going to be fun to watch them play twice. They haven't already played yet, have they?
No. Not that I'm aware of. I don't know. We've already heard about it.
Yeah, they haven't.
Yeah. Surely not.
Surely.
Yep. And now Tua's getting his first start this weekend too, down there in Miami. But he's going against the number 3 defense, number 2 defense with the Rams.
Yeah. Well, I think I like the way I like rookies to sit out to the first year. I think Tua would be better if he sat out the first year, but I feel like Miami with their defense, like you said earlier, and then being 3-3 right now, that they feel like they've got a chance to go to the playoffs. So why not try and put the better quarterback in and see what happens?
I mean, they do. They're in a division with the Patriots. The Patriots ain't doing shit.
Mm-hmm. And the Jets.
Oh God, the Jets.
So all they have to worry about in that division really is Buffalo, and they've been kind of streaky lately. They've started out real hot.
Yeah, but that quarterback, dude, I don't know, man. The past couple of games, he kind of looked like the same quarterback that was in the playoffs. It just made some dumbass decisions.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. He's a gunslinger, man. They need to get him under control somehow.
Well, they need to get running games. What they need.
That would help.
Yeah. What happened to the running game? I mean, Singletary used to be the guy, and the last couple times I watched him, like he's on the sideline all the time. He's not hurt.
I don't get it. No, the last couple of games he hasn't done dick.
So no, weird. I don't know. Well, and it's not like the games don't call for runs. I mean, this last game, I think there wasn't a single touchdown score. It was all freaking field goals between the Bills and the Jets.
That's a fun game to watch.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you.
But now you guys nailed it. I mean, if you don't have at least the threat of the run game, I think it's where Allen loses some effectiveness because, I mean, traditionally these guys, these big arms that like to throw deep, and, man, he does. He loves to air that ball out. They don't have a chance to do it without play action because he can't buy time in the pocket. I mean, you don't hold the linebackers, and they just blitz you all the time.
I'm sure y'all saw the highlight if you didn't see it live where he was running and he just ran too fast and fell over.
No, that was Daniel Jones, New York Giants quarterback. Yeah.
No, that was great.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
We've all been there.
Yes, I've done that. I've absolutely done that. Not in 20 years, but I've done it though.
That man will be in his 80s and they'll still be talking about that play. He's never going to outlive that.
Nope, it's the new butt fumble.
Well,
it's a new butt fumble.
Screw that guy. He sucks.
Yeah, he should have never got on there anyway. He should have never been the starter. He was a flash in the pan in college, and that was it.
Really? I didn't follow him very much. Talking about Daniel Jones?
Well, yeah.
You talking about Daniel Jones?
I don't know his college career either, but yes, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I haven't seen much from him. I mean, when I watch him, I mean, I don't know if you guys get the same vibe, but I hate that the Giants suck all the time now, and I kind of want them to do well, and so you kind of naturally pull for this guy. And I've just watched them have these big, long drives, 10, 15 plays, and he's down there, and he does just some bonehead dumb shit. Mm-hmm. And they turn the ball over and can't score. And that's why they keep losing these games. Him, Darnold, I mean, a lot of these teams that just repetitively suck every year, you want them to stop sucking. I mean, even Cleveland, like, I'm happy that they're doing well this year. Yep. But Jones is one of these guys that I don't see what anybody saw in him as a quarterback outside of that one run where he should have scored. I haven't seen anything that really dazzles me at all.
Nope. Nothing at all.
I don't see anything in that whole division that does anything for me.
Yeah, maybe it's the division.
It's the entire division, dude. Philadelphia sucks. Cowboys suck. What the Washington Football Club, or is it Washington Football Team, isn't it?
WTF.
All right.
I tell you though, the AFC East and the NFC East, man, my word, that's pitiful. Just pitiful.
Yeah. So what about Tampa Bay, dude? That matter of fact, that might have been who my brother said was going to go from the NFC. It was going to be Tampa Bay against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man, I got to eat some crow here. Tom Brady is making me look like a fool. I didn't think he was the same Tom Brady, and here he is doing what he does. So,
and now you got Antonio Brown coming back, who signed for a 1-year contract with incentives, could be worth up to $2.5 million for a 1 year.
That's retarded. That's the dumbest. This right here, I guarantee you this. If they sign him and this all goes through, that motherfucker, if he lasts the whole way, I will be really surprised. But I don't, man. How can you have a roster with studs like they have down there, absolute studs, and then you bring in this fucking piece of trash raper that's been on the street for the past 2 years and give him $1 million, dude? I mean, are you kidding?
Don't hold back.
Don't hold back. Off the top rope.
It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. And if I was on their team and I was Chris Godwin or Mike Evans, I would be pissed. I would be pissed the fuck off. That's it.
I mean, obviously Tom Brady had to, he had to, rally for him or whatever.
I don't know. I don't know if he has the same.
You don't think so?
Now,
I don't think
let
so.
me tell you guys, this got leaked out that Brady was pulling for it. And you know who probably leaked it? It's either the owner or the GM who made the decision to bring him in. Because Arians, you can look back and there's news clippings of Arians saying, absolutely, we're not going to sign him. Bruce Arians did not wake up one day and magically want to sign Antonio Brown. He's already coached him, and he knows he's a loser and he sucks. And Jason Light, I think he's amassed enough talent to where he doesn't want to mess up the balance of things that he has. I think that this is an owner move. It reeks of an owner move. And what's going to happen is they leaked all this stuff out there to kind of soften the blow and keep the shadow of blame off the owners. But if it goes bad, they're going to roll right over the guys in charge. And it does suck because, I mean, I agree with everything you just said. There's no reason that anybody on that team wants or needs him there. They've already got so much talent. And it's just going to knock them completely sideways. Did it the Raiders last year?
Yep.
And
I hope they lose. I hope they start losing when they get him.
I don't doubt they will. Because you got to get in the ball. If you don't get in the ball, you have to deal with him.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he's a cancer for the locker room. I mean, that right there is enough. I would pay $2.5 million not to have him.
Exactly.
Fuck up my locker room, dude.
That's a good point, though, Mike. The owner. I could see that. That makes a lot of sense.
Why would you bring in a guy like Antonio Brown when you've got Evans and Godwin? Are you going to make him the third receiver? Do you think Antonio Brown's going to be happy being the third receiver? Is he going to catch punts? Like, that's the more I'm talking through this, the more I really don't like this move.
Nope. No, it's bad.
No, I didn't like it at all. There's no reason for him to be in the league.
Mm-mm. But even if you set all the personal stuff aside, which is hard to do with this guy, but even if you do, it's like, and even if he was a stud, and he's been playing, like, even if he was playing last year or this year and the trade deadline issue, I still don't understand it because you've just got so much talent that, like Mike said, is he going to be the third receiver? I mean,
I think he's going to come back with a different attitude. I don't think he's going to come in expecting to be the number one or even number two receiver right at this point. Dude, he's been out for 2 fucking years. He's got to show some kind of humility coming back into the league. He is given a second chance, fucking fourth chance to come play in a privileged job where you're making millions of dollars, dude.
I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it, man. He's fucked up too much.
The last two teams he was on paid a combined $40 million in dead money to get rid of him and draft picks on top of it just to keep this guy from playing for them any longer. So, yeah, best of luck.
Yeah. Well, hell.
The other guy, Le'Veon, I hope he does all right because he's not. I know he was out for a year, but his situation's a lot different, and I'm rooting for him to do well. The other Steeler that caused so much stink, I guess.
I'm optimistic. I mean, if he's going to be on a 2-back system for the rest of his career, he's probably going to be okay because he's the type of running style that hasn't taken a lot of punishment. But I'm hoping the rest doesn't really throw him off. It's one of these things where if it works for him, I think other running backs and other positions will start to do the same thing. And if it doesn't work for him, then you won't see these guys, sitting out a year, avoiding the franchise tag anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're about halfway through the season. We are at pretty much at the halfway point.
Yep.
So you know what Tuesday is, Miles, right? Tuesday?
Voting bullshit?
No, it's the trade deadline.
Oh yeah. The trade deadline. Yeah.
Trade deadline. Do you think there's
any get you with that?
Yeah. Is there anybody that y'all think would make the Titans better? And could they make a move for them? I was listening to somebody, I want to say Gibson from up in the Patriots. Is he an edge rusher?
Gibson?
I don't know.
I've heard Stephon Gilmore thrown around.
Gilmore, that's it. Sorry.
Gilmore.
Sorry with the G.
So they've been taking calls on him. I don't know that they're trying to actively move him because he was the player of the year last year on defense, but he does have a high salary. I think they're throwing in the towel and they want to move salary off and get draft picks and that whole thing. But I mean, it almost, to me, it doesn't make sense for the Patriots because you still want to have somebody who can play on the other end. He is 30 years old. I really don't. I think that the Titans need help in the secondary, and they have enough bodies to try to rush the passer. They're just not getting in the quarterback. But I think if they had another piece in the secondary, all that would change. Now, all this said, I think that trading for Gilmore is a bad move because you're going to have to give up a first-round pick, even if it's a low-round pick next year, like 25 or 26 for getting the playoffs. I think it's a bad move because you have an expensive guy maybe a 2-year rental because cornerbacks don't last forever.
Mm.
But man, I don't know. I mean, that's a call for J-Rob.
Mm. Yeah, it would definitely. I mean, all I know is it would have to be on defense for sure. I mean, there's no reason to change anything offensively.
No, we're good. We're good on offense. We got enough backups to take care of any problems there, but we cannot get to a fucking quarterback. Clowney is accounting for $12.5 million a year, and he hasn't touched the quarterback this fucking year. He's rushed, sure, but he has not. Huh?
This guy, this Clowney. I mean,
dude, I didn't understand the big deal when he became a free agent. I mean, dude, look at his stats. He hasn't got the greatest of stats, dude.
One good season. That's it. If I think I remember correctly, he had like 4 or 5, like 6 sacks in one season. And I think that's it.
Now,
fuck that.
Clowney's a guy. Just being honest, I mean, his potential is always going to precede his actual statistics because the freak show he put on in college, because that one play at South Carolina that got replayed on ESPN for years and years, and then because he was a first overall draft pick. So all these things kind of go into this pot of, what people think he is. And I agree with you guys both. He's never done enough to live up to that hype, but he's also still a freakish athlete. So people it's kind of like on, when people are drafting players and they get these workout warriors that run a great 40 or they, a certain number of reps, but they've never done anything on the stat sheet. They were never a great player in college. And they pick these guys in the high up, first 5 or 6 picks of the draft, and they overdraft them. So then you have this draft type. Clowney's the same type of guy. I mean, I think he's going to do better in the late round or the late part of the season because I think he started out of shape. And once he gets his legs under him, hopefully he'll kind of start to rebound and get us into the playoffs. But no, he's not done anything. Vic Beasley's way worse than him, though, if you want to talk about trash. And they signed him, too.
Yeah.
Well, they need to get it together. I'd like to see them do well. They've got a really good start here.
They have a great start. They're 5-1, dude. And they, like I said, that's why they didn't win like this past Sunday, because their defense couldn't get to Big Ben. And I know they should have been able to, man.
Hey, I got a question for both of you guys. What happens if Ryan Tannehill gets hurt?
No, don't say that.
I don't know who Logan Woodside is.
Nobody does.
He's what you call a camp arm. He's the guy you bring in that's not going to make the team. That gets to throw when the other guys get tired to the scout teams and stuff.
That's scary. That's a bit scary looking at that. Eesh.
Yeah, it's opposite the approach they took last year.
Yes. We need Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I would not disagree with that. I mean, if we could get him cheap, that'd be awesome.
I mean, so there's nothing wrong with him, is there?
Tannehill?
No.
Oh,
Fitzpatrick.
I don't think so.
Huh.
No, he's healthy. He's good.
So Tua's just getting the start because he got put in last week for him?
They just wanted him to start. They're just trying to. I think that they're not really worried. Let me back up. I don't think Miami's looking to win the Super Bowl this year. I think that they're looking at it and saying, okay, we're at least a year away, and Fitzpatrick's not the guy we want to bring back next year. And at some point, he's going to, turn back. The clock's going to strike midnight, and he's going to do what he always does. And they're trying to just get ahead of it. So I don't necessarily disagree with it. It reminds me of like Kurt Warner with the Giants and that whole deal, where Eli got thrown in there even though they were doing well. I don't know if it's a good approach or not.
Kurt Warner?
They're feeling heat to play.
I don't remember that. I remember the Rams and the Cardinals.
Yeah, he played in 2004. He played 1 year for the Giants, and it's Eli's rookie year. They were 4-4, and they benched Warner for no reason to put Eli in the game. And the rest of their season kind of went off the rails. But they just kind of wanted to get Eli to be the starter. Hell be damned.
Wow.
That was something to do with Papa Manning, probably.
Huh.
All right.
Yeah.
I got one thing to mention, too, that I'd like to talk about. Did anybody see DK Metcalf?
Yes.
Run down.
Everyone has seen it, dude. Everyone has seen that. It looks like they took his image and sped only it up.
Yes.
And he looked like he was in fast forward while everybody else was in fucking slow motion.
That was the highlight of week 7, man. That was the highlight.
Watching that play gives people hope that they can do anything at all. I mean, it's one of those things that there's no reason he should have ever caught that, man. And you're watching it. You know what? It was like watching Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl. Just take off and just blow the hell out. It was amazing. I love it.
That was awesome, dude.
He
wasn't even in the camera, man. He was outside of the scope of the camera, and dude was running about, and then all of a sudden,
yep. It was great, dude. And then people were writing in saying, "Well, it's not that. It should be the play of the week because they still lost the game." I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if they lost the game, dude. That was
a standalone top tier play.
Yes,
unbelievable.
Easily,
Chris Collinsworth was making noises you only hear on Pornhub. It was that was worth the 15 seconds right there. I mean, it was the best.
Crazy. That was awesome, though.
Yes. So, all right, rookies. I think it's going to be between Joe Burrow and dude out in the Herbert dude.
You're a believer in him. I saw you got him going for your.
I do.
Well, it's not a bad team they're playing, or it is a bad team they're playing this week. So
that's kind of the point. Well, I got rid of Drew Brees, man. He has fucked off so much, and Matt Ryan's kind of fucked off too.
What?
He's only
Ryan's been producing fantasy numbers. I thought he'd at least be. Wow.
No, he has not. Dude, he got 39 points over
last night or Thursday. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was his second highest game in the past 4 weeks.
The way they play, I thought he would, at least be a stud in fantasy.
No, dude, he's not at all. He matter of fact, he got his first touchdown last week with Julio. I want to say that's his first touchdown in like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, dude, he's been terrible. And Drew Brees, he had a decent week last week, but before that, dude, he's been shit too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now McAdams. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about. Devontae McAdams, is that his name? Devontae Adams, excuse me. Green Bay's a receiver. Why did he get fined so much for bumping into a player after the play was dead? He tweeted something about it, man. I saw it earlier.
Didn't see that.
I wasn't aware he got fined.
Yeah. He said, I got fined thousands and thousands of dollars. What happens to the guy I ran into? Or, bumped into is what he said. So I'm prepared for this, but it just kind of struck me and I had to blurt it out because that's what they do.
I don't know.
I'm not pointing out, but I wasn't. I didn't
late hit. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's Jamal Adams. I don't know, man. Sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
That was it. I just thought I saw what information you were looking for, but I didn't. I was wrong.
I'm gonna look on Twitter. So y'all talk about something because I want to find this shit.
I think Green Bay's for real.
I did too. As a matter of fact, Jones is out, which we were talking about before we started.
Yeah.
And I got their running back starting since he's gonna be buddy. Yeah. Thank you.
No, Green Bay is looking good. I mean, they were sneaky good last year. So why wouldn't they be this year? I still feel like, I don't know if you guys feel this way when you watch them, but I feel like they still don't really have an identity, but they managed to win each game every week, just kind of like case by case. It's not like the Titans where it's like, okay, they're a run first team. It's not like, Kansas City where it's like, okay, they have all this speed and these different weapons and it's all offense really, and they're just going to get a big lead and kill you. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, they've got so many different pieces that kind of don't make sense, and they're making sense out of it.
Yep, I agree. It's just working. Obviously it just took a head coaching change to make these things. With Rodgers, obviously he's got some personal things that people struggle to deal with, and this LaFleur guy has made it happen. And because he's doing well.
I'll eat crow on that one because I thought LaFleur was a terrible hire. I was like, 1 year with Mariota and this guy gets a head coaching job in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Like,
that's because he came from that. Yeah, but didn't he come from the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl?
I think he had something to do with them.
Yeah, no, he was offensive coordinator at the Rams, but Sean McVay was the one actually calling all the plays that year. That's why I was so surprised that he was getting so much attention because he actually didn't call any of the fucking plays. But he still was held in such high regard. I'm not saying anything on this shit. That bugs me.
Yeah, I didn't think LaFleur was going to do good. He's doing much better than McCarthy, which kind of makes the Dallas situation seem a little bit more glaring because it's like, okay, well, McCarthy goes in there and has, in my estimation, really no control over what's going on. He's making a lot of mistakes that young coaches make, like coaches who haven't been around the league, for 15 years as the top guy on a team. I mean, you just kind of have seen it. Now, Dallas can be dysfunctional in and of itself, but it kind of makes it look like he was the reason that the Packers never really got past the first couple rounds of the playoffs since the last time they won in 2010,
Yep. Hey, about the whole Rodgers personality thing, maybe it's a McCarthy personality thing more than a Rodgers. And
it could be.
No, it was both, dude, but no, Rodgers is a douche.
He's a very sensitive guy.
Oh, fuck him. He was saying that, his worst year is most.
You heard you say that he'd be upset.
Yeah, fuck. He won't ever hear this. But apparently he said his worst year is most quarterbacks' career years.
He said that?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
He
did.
That's pretty techy.
But the Davante Adams thing, that was last year. I don't know why. I just saw the other. He was fined $10,000 for doing a chest bump.
It's all good. It was still a bad fine then, too. We could talk about that.
Yeah. Well, it was last year. He'd probably get fined more this year for doing that with COVID and all that shit.
Yes.
Or what about the damn baseball player who tested positive like halfway through the game or some shit? They got.
Oh, yeah. I haven't read into it, but I don't know it's very strange.
The third baseman, the first test he took came back inconclusive, so they put a rush on it when he took it that morning, and then they didn't find out until like halfway through the game, so he left and came back with a mask, and then they won, and he went out there and threw his mask off and celebrated with his team and shit. It was just like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? So, yeah, good times.
Baseball, man.
Yeah.
Sad. It's really sad. That's a good spot. This was such a great World Series. And I got to be totally honest, I really didn't watch much of it, but I've seen the highlights.
I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, I've seen the highlights, and it was one of the better World Series over the last couple years. I mean, there's been some decent ones, but they really took a good hold in the sports market again. They started bringing fans back to the game, which is hard for baseball to do. And then this kind of happens, which blacks the eye a little bit. I thought it was shitty. And then they try to really put a lot of the blame on the player, but it's just like, how many people are in the stadium that don't work for Major League Baseball that couldn't have kept him off the field? I mean, really, you have to take ownership of the fact that the guy made it there, because you could have just gone and told him he has to get the fuck out of here. Because you're sick. And people know you're sick. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's not the only responsible party. He's got a boss that could have said
that. And you know what? And I was listening to a bunch of sports shows about it, and a lot of these fucking journalists were taking up for him. Like, well, this is the World Series. He deserves to be able to. So fuck off, dude. Fuck off.
Put a mask on then, I guess, or whatever. I mean, fuck.
I know. It's
can't speak out of both sides. It's either you care about it and you're doing the right things, or you don't and you're not. You can't have it both ways.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, it's your. If you work in a workplace and they require you to have a mask, wear a mask.
This is true.
That's all there is to it. You're getting paid, man. Fuck off. Just do what you need to do. Now on your own personal time and shit. Cool, do whatever. I don't care. Exactly. But when you're in the workplace and you work under someone and an employer is telling you to do something, just do it. You're going to pay millions of dollars. Shut up.
I agree.
So anyway, back to the rookie thing. I totally went off subject there. Joe Burrow or Herbert? We didn't go any further on that.
Burrow.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to call for me. 3 weeks ago, I'd have said Burrow hands down. I mean, it's really close to me right now.
Hey, Cincinnati's not winning games, but he's throwing like 400 or 500 yards almost every year.
They're not winning games.
Only reason they're relevant. Their offensive line's a sieve.
It's amazing he gets it off.
But the Chargers are winning games.
To a degree, right? I mean, they're
at least keeping them close too, though.
I didn't think they were.
Yeah, they're that good, dude. They almost beat Kansas City. I know.
Oh yeah, they've won 2 games.
2?
Yes.
Well.
Try again.
But the games that they've lost, dude, have been very close. And he's getting the stats. Maybe I made the wrong decision on that one. Yeah, pick up Joe Burrow.
I like him. I do. I don't dislike him. I think Burrow is showing to be the better quarterback right this minute. But I'm happy for San Diego to they have a decent looking quarterback.
I could have swore you know what? They seem like they've won more than that. They really did. I can't believe I'm sitting here boasting about a team who's fucking 2-4.
Well, the quarterback. I mean,
they're 2-3, right? They're 2-3 because they've already had their bye.
I think. Let me see.
Oh, we're coming up on week
2-4. 2-4.
2-4. Yeah.
No, they have kept it close though. I mean, they're a team that no one really wants to play. I mean, we'll put it that way. And he's been a decent enough quarterback. I think he's putting together some good games. And, you know, for what it's worth, you're looking for Rookie of the Year. Doesn't really matter so much about the record. You have, you know, rookies that aren't playing that well on teams that are winning every single week. You have guys that they get drafted to bad teams and they get surrounded by bad players, and that's just the way it is. But I think that Joe Burrow definitely has more talent. He has got an edge there right now. But Herbert, I mean, is a really cool story. I mean, he wasn't really supposed to play, and he just got thrown into the game that day when Tyrod got his lung punctured or whatever right before the game. Wally Pipp, man. That's the ultimate Wally Pipp is Tyrod Taylor.
That's hilarious. Well, is there anything else y'all want to touch on?
I don't think so. I'm getting texts from my wife. Where you at?
Yeah, we're playing Cincinnati. We're going to beat Burrow this weekend. 6-1 Titans. Mark it down.
I believe it. That's
there's
no reason to deny that. Well, no, we may not be able to. If we don't get a sack on them this week, I'm done with their defense.
Fair point.
So, with going up against the worst offensive line in the NFL, we better get us some damn pressure on him.
I don't know, man. Carolina might be worse. They have a terrible offensive line too.
Who's that?
Carolina. Did you see any of that?
Oh, dude.
God, Bridgewater's running for his life, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Falcons look like all pros.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
cool. We'll do it next week, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Right. Sorry if I messed some things up there.
Nah, dude. Work has messed me up, and I know work has messed him up too. So
it's happy to be here.
Same here. We'll see y'all next week.
All right.
See ya.